Welcome to Fun and Games Side Quests. Every episode is a different host sharing a video game they love and why they love it.
Hello, Matt. This is Paul Mattingly. Thank you so much for letting me rant and rave about one of my all-time favorite video game franchises, Culdcept. Now, this is a series that's been going on for a long time. I think 95 was the first entrant? Somewhere around there. PlayStation 1 era. It's a long-toothed series. Some people may never have even heard of it. Some may have. It is often described as Magic the Gathering meets Monopoly. And that is a very apt description. This is a card-based game on a board where you go around and you do basically play a very hyper-stylized version of Monopoly. Instead of laying down hotels and houses, you're laying down monsters. And when someone lands on your property, instead of having to pay rent, they can fight your house. That's basically how it goes. So if you feel like you've got the gumption to beat up my hotel with one of your hotels, we can go. If you lose, you pay my rent. If you win, you take over the spot with your new monster hotel. It's really simple in execution, but incredibly complex in the rules if you want to get really deep with it, depending on which version you're playing and which systems they've incorporated. But just like Magic the Gathering, you get out of it what you put into it, kind of, right? The more you learn about it, the better you get. You build your own deck. You create it around certain colors, certain types of magic creatures that work well with each other. You can pair it with multiple different colors in your decks, all that kind of thing. It has tons of similarity with Magic. The thing I love about it is you buy the game, and then instead of having to buy a new set of cards and have a ton of cards sitting around every 6 months, you've got every card. You have to work to unlock them. So there is a lot of time involved in this game. It is not a quick game. Many of the rounds take about 2.5 hours, and sometimes longer. Not much longer, but that's about, if you're really a big time slog. And oftentimes you'll lose those rounds that go for 2.5 hours, and it can be incredibly disheartening. But again, if you're a fan of collectible card games and would rather have all your collectible cards right there and ready to go instead of having to pay money every time for them, Culdcept is great for that. And then the fun of unlocking new cards, buying new cards. There's a new version called Culdcept Saga. That's the latest one that is on the DS family of systems. The 3DS, as a matter of fact. And it's not DS, it's 3DS only. If you have a 3DS, I highly recommend this game. Go ahead and put it on a wish list or just mark it because it's been on sale for like ridiculously low, under $15. And it's just hours and hours of content and fun. There's a storyline. The storyline is very labyrinthine and complex. When I was really into this game, I actually bought the manga that was kind of loosely based around some of the early games. There's the main character in the manga, or one of the main characters in the manga was Gulagan, who shows up all the time. He's an old man who's a stick, or a stick who's got the face of an old man. I don't know. Gulagan's weird. He's actually represented in the latest Smash Brothers. He's an awardable trophy within the Smash Brothers. So if you see Gulagan, now you know where he's from and what the story is there, sort of. Anyway, he's part of the whole Culdcept thing. But I really love this game. It's great fun to play against other people. I understand that there were tournaments going on in Japan playing on the Dreamcast system like a decade after the Dreamcast had hit. Like, people were still loading up their old game saves and going to places to meet up and play Culdcept with their VMUs, with all their data saved, with their specific decks. So, yeah, it's one of those games that if you can find a community of like-minded folk, it's even more fun. And there are online modes that you can tinker with. So, go for it. Don't hesitate. If you have even the slightest inkling as far as card games go and board games, you can't go wrong. It's literally one of my all-time favorites. Culdcept in all of its iterations and forms. Many different versions of the game. One Kuldra to rule them all. That's the goddess who created the whole game. Anyway, thanks so much for letting me rant and rave, Matt. Please check out my podcast, Matt and Mattingly's Ice Cream Social. And we're going to have Matt on here pretty soon, hopefully. And he can chat some more with us. And big love to all you gamers out there. Happy gaming!
Video games are a unique medium.
They can tell stories,
Immerse us in strange, fantastic worlds.
blur the very boundaries of our reality.
But at the end of the day, video games are fun. Whatever fun is to you.
I'm Jeff Moonen,
And I am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
and on Fun and Games, we talk about the history, trends, and community of video games.
It's a celebration of all the games we play and all the fun we find within them.
And there's so many more games out there, so we hope you'll share in that conversation with us.
Fun and Games podcast with Matt and Jeff. Find us on certainpov.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
And happy gaming.
CPOV.
CertainPOV.com.